Hello and welcome back to my channel. As you've seen on my Instagram, I recently attended a virtual makeup lesson by Sahar's Art on Instagram. For the longest time I thought it was Sahar's Art, and I think a lot of her followers too. I followed her for a very long time and I think she's genuinely such a nice person and she's so talented. And I've always wanted to attend a makeup lesson in general anyway, just because I think there's always room for improvement, and you know, there are a lot of new things I want to learn and a lot of skills I want to learn and become better at makeup. And I thought she would be the perfect person to learn from, because she is, you know, she's my age, she's also Singaporean, she's brown, you know, there are a lot of things in common in that sense, and the face features are pretty similar as well. And just in general, I've been following her for so long and I think she is, you know, so talented in what she does. So I signed up for her virtual masterclass, and the one that I did was the feline eyeliner foxy eye look, and let me tell you, it was worth every penny spent. I learned so many things, and more importantly, I learned that I was doing half of the things wrong. So like most of the things that I've learned you're going to see later are in my base makeup. For the eye makeup, it was more specifically for technique, which things I didn't even know, but the things that I was doing wrong and it just blew my mind is more for my base makeup. I DM'd her and I was like, do you mind if I make this video? Because honestly, I think if you want to learn properly, you should be paying her and learning from her, not me. And she was completely fine with it. She was like, yes, of course, you know, make the video. But this video is specifically what I learned I was doing wrong from her and how she kind of corrected my technique. She spent 3 hours with us for $50 only. She spent 3 hours going through the every single technique, every single makeup technique, and she even entertained a little Q&A at the end, and I asked her a lot about content creation. So genuinely very grateful for that. I will leave all her links down below. Let's just get into this video on what I learned and a little mini tutorial slash also try and relearn with me how to do this foxy eye makeup look. So I've already done my skincare and my face is ready for the makeup. So the first thing that she did was she did her brows. We could either do the base first or we could do the eyes first, but we voted to do the eyes first just because, like, you know, we were doing a new technique and we didn't want to mess up anything on the skin. She went in with the brow gel first, and then she did her brows with a brow pencil, and I asked her why and I don't remember her answer. I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel. I didn't really like this technique of using the brow gel then brow pencil because I feel like it made it very stiff, which I think was the point of doing that, but I prefer doing the gel after. But anyway, we are going to use the Anastasia brow wiz and just fill in any gaps. And for me, that would be like the top and the bottom. And I like to lengthen my arch. And then just using the spoolie, she said this was really important, and it is just important to blend. Now we're gonna carve out the brows and prime the lids. So for this, she used a concealer instead of an eye primer even to prime the lids, which I do the same thing. But for the concealer, she used the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I think to prime and to clean up my brows, I'm actually going to use the Maybelline New York, what is this, Fit Me concealer in the shade 25 medium, just because I think that I don't really want to waste my Shape Tape. She actually used a flatter and thinner concealer brush than this, but I'm just going to use what I have already, and I'm just going to take my brush and take the concealer and just carve out my brows. One thing that she did say was that you don't have to worry so much about blending this out just yet. You can let it sit, because in the end we're going to blend everything out anyway. So that was something I was a little bit like, I look a little bit crazy. Now taking some more concealer, I'm going to apply this on the lid and buff it out. We can use a sponge, but I think I'm going to use the brush first and just give it the most coverage. So the thing is, like, you know, Indian girls, we have quite a lot of pigmentation on our eyes, so this kind of gives it a very even base, even though the look that I learned was actually not much to do with eyeshadow, it's more to do with eyeliner, but it does just even out the skin tone and gives you a good base to work with. So that's why we're still priming the lids anyway. Now I'm just going to take a translucent powder and buff all of that in and just blend this out. So this is something I've been already doing, so it was a bit comforting to know that I was doing something right, because everything else, as you will see in the video, I was doing wrong. Okay, so now that the eyes are primed, we are gonna work on the eyeliner. And for that, I think I'm gonna zoom you in just a little bit. Okay, you are zoomed in and very close to my face. She went through the different kinds of eyeliners with us, but the one I'm gonna be using is a pencil liner, and this is the Infallible Gel Crayon Waterproof Liner by what we're gonna do first is we're gonna line the eyes and kind of smudge it out to give that wing effect. And the thing is, with this liner, it doesn't really smudge, so for me, I don't really use it to draw out the wing like how she did. For me, I'm kind of using it to just give me that smudgy look that will come in handy really later. But actually, like, if you have a good gel liner, if you have a good eyeliner that will smudge out to give you that wing, it actually really helps when you're drawing the winged eyeliner. But for me, I'm kind of just using it to follow her. I'm gonna line this part. It doesn't matter if it's messy because we're gonna smudge it out anyway. And for me, because it doesn't smudge out that well, I kind of draw the wing a bit. Okay, before I do the other eye, I'm just gonna quickly smudge this out. So I'm gonna use a little thin blending brush and just smudge it out and smoke it out. So for this, it's okay if it's messy because we're going to clean it up later with concealer. That is one thing I learned from her. Concealer is your best friend. Like, I didn't realize the number of things you could clean up with concealer. Like, literally, it erases all your past mistakes and all your regrets. We're going to tackle the inner corner. Now, this inner corner is to do the foxy eye look. The thing is, I have no idea how to do it, and honestly, I'm still not very good at it. But the trick that she taught us was just conceal. So I'm going to go in with a different eyeliner. I'm going to go in with a felt tip liner. She used a gel liner with a angled brush to kind of stamp it on, but I don't have either of those. So I'm just going to use my felt tip liner and slowly draw out, lengthen this part of my eye and connect it back. And it's okay if it's messy because I'm just going to conceal it afterwards. Now that I've drawn it on, I realized they're in two different directions. So we gotta fix that. I feel like this looks better because it looks like it's elongated this way, and this just looks like a wing liner in the other direction. So we're gonna erase this. Okay, so now this looks insane. I'm going to use some concealer and cover up all my mistakes. Just using a very thin, flat brush, thinner than the one I used before. Grab some of my best friend and kind of clean up my mess over there. Yeah, that's it. That's literally it, and it looks so much better already. But you know what, I'm just going to leave this. I'm not going to go in with any more concealer because I don't want to mess anything else up. Okay, now that we've somewhat got something going on, I'm going to go back in with the felt tip liner and go over the smudge and now carve out my wing. And one thing she encouraged us to do was draw a longer wing, so that is what I'm currently attempting to do. Now that we've kind of got this going on, I'm going to go back with the gel liner and line my lower lash line. And what she did was that she brought it actually below her lash line, and she didn't just stick to this, which I do as well, but when I try and go for a more smoky look, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my Morphe palette, and this is just a nude palette. It has very beautiful brown shades. I'm going to go in with this warm brown and smudge that out. You can use a black, but one thing I learned from her is actually using a brown makes it a little less intense but still gives that very smoky look. So initially I would have honestly just taken a black and smudged everything out, but I think that would have made me look very scary. So now I learned, use a brown to smoke out black kajal. And also it really complements the brown in your eyes. If you have brown eyes, I feel like using a brown eyeshadow to smudge it out rather than a black eyeshadow really ties everything together. I'm going to take the same warm brown shade and put that in my crease. So then she uses a kind of like a highlighter shade to go on the lid, and I'm going to use a flat brush and use this shade, which is an in-between of like a silver / gold and has some sort of pink tone to it, and just lightly dab this all over my lid. To make this a more glam look, you can actually use a liquid eyeshadow. So I asked her how I should be applying this, and you know, because usually when I apply liquid eyeshadow it looks way too much, so she said use a brush and go in with a little bit and just kind of like dab that on. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is a very fluorescent color. In the during the actual class itself I used a more goldish shade, but because I want to match this, I'm just gonna use a bit and kind of literally just glide that on. Oh wow, this is very fluorescent. And I think this is pretty much the eyes complete. Before I do anything with the foundation, I'm still going to go in with a primer, the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. I'm just going to apply this all over my face. She used a moisturizer, but I think I'm going to go in with a primer because I already moisturized. Yes, I was saying about the foundation, so just take a little bit. And for me, the coverage I like to focus on is my acne scars here, and a bit on my chin. So I'm going to just distribute that first here and blend that in. So she used a more of a thinner and smaller foundation brush to really get in there, but I don't have that, so I'm just going to use this dense brush. So I haven't actually put any foundation on my forehead, and I'm going to go in with very little and just like barely anything, and then cover up whatever I have left. So now that the foundation is done, I'm going to go in with the sponge and just bounce on it, so it will kind of pick up whatever excess product there is and also smoothen out any lines or anything like that. Next, she uses the iconic Shape Tape Concealer, but what surprised me is that she really used very little. Like, when I say little, I mean like literally nothing. You know, usually you see beauty gurus like do the whole big triangle thing, but she literally just took like the concealer and did like a dot like that and like that. I just put a bit more because I don't understand how she did that. Take a concealer brush. We are going to carefully blend this out and bring it up next to our eye. So I'm going to go back in with the sponge and just blend that up. The next thing I realized I was doing wrong was only setting under my eyes, because usually the thing is I was very confused. Like, you have a translucent powder and then you also bake, so what's the point of just baking and then putting the powder on the rest of the face when it's the same thing? So what she said was go in with my Easy Bake, which is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder, and just lightly dust over the areas with concealer, and then use my translucent powder, or what she was using I think was the Fenty Beauty powder, and use that all over the rest of the face, because we live in a very humid place, so would not recommend not powdering your face. I want to take that small brush, and the thing with banana bread is that it's this powder, not the actual banana bread, is that it's a more yellow tint, so this is good for the under eyes. And we'll be doing baking later, which I'll be showing you. Now, taking a fluffier brush and my translucent setting powder, I'm going to set the rest of my face with this. Now, normally I would just finish this look by going in with a cheek leader palette, use my bronzer, blush, highlight, and be done with it. But she told me to use a cream contour first and then put my bronzer on. And this thing that I learned will literally change your entire makeup game. Now, when we put powdered bronzer, when we do this, we tend to put it on the hollows of our cheek. That is wrong. Who knew? So basically, you're supposed to find your cheekbone, which is the literal bone here, which is a lot higher than your hollowness in your cheek. Put the contour here. So here. The contour I'm going to be using is Huda Beauty Tantour. This is a cream contour, and I'm using their brush to blend it. So I'm just taking a bit, feeling where my cheekbone is, here and not here. So here, this is a lot higher than what I would normally do, but trust me, it changes the entire look. I'm gonna leave my nose alone. Usually I would just kind of contour it now, but I learned how to do a nose contour, so I'm not gonna do that now. And now I just blend this out and blend it upwards. literally changed my makeup game, because I realized that the whole time I've been putting my bronzer very low and it kind of drops my face, but this definitely gives it that lift. Now I'm going to take the bronzer, the Hoola bronzer, and just go over that and make sure I don't go any lower than it already is. Blush. This is going to blow your mind. You know how usually I smile and do this and then put in the apples on my cheek? But the thing is, when you do that, when you stop smiling, the whole thing drops. So you shouldn't be smiling and putting your blush. Just kind of keep a straight face and put it on the tops of your cheeks. I'm literally resisting the urge to like, so who knew? Now before we do the highlight, let's attempt the nose contour. Now the nose contour, this is I think the biggest lesson I learned. She said that you can't use bronzer to contour your nose. I didn't know that. All this whole time I've been using bronzer to contour my nose, and I always wondered how to get the very pinched nose. So she said you should be using more taupe colors, like actual contour shades. So for that, I'm actually going to be using eyeshadow, and I'm going to use from the Morphe palette a very like this color, the very taupey kind of brown, and I'm going to take a kind of like more precise fluffy brush, take this brown color, and I'm going to drag it from my eyebrow and just on the bridge of my nose. Okay, now it's looking extremely harsh, which is fine, because what we're going to do now before we blend this out is I'm going to bake the sides of my nose to kind of erase that. So I've known about this, but I think I've never been doing it right. So I'm going to be taking my Easy Bake powder, take my sponge, and literally press the powder against the entire part of the nose and just drag that under the eye as much as you want. I'm going to be taking a thin fluffy brush again and just wipe off that bake. And you can already see that pinched nose coming through, but I don't think I did a very good job. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just blend that nose contour in. Now I'm going to take this Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics highlighter brush and take my Kiko highlighter. This is a more pinky highlighter, which I don't know whether it will really work for this, but I kind of want to use it. And just drag the highlighter down your nose so it looks like it is, oh actually you know what, it does work pretty well, especially the button of your nose. So it just looks like the sun is hitting the very bridge of your nose, and it just gives the illusion that the bridge of your nose is really skinny. I'm going to get some setting spray and set all of this in. My lips, as you can see, are pretty thin, so I've always wanted to learn how to overline my lips without making it look insane. So I am going to show you what she taught me, and I really like the way that she taught me to do it because it doesn't look that obvious, but it does give my lips that more plump effect. So I'm going to start by lining the outer regions of my lips. The trick to doing it is actually overlining only the center of your lip. So the Cupid's bow, I'm just going to push it up a little bit. Also, just the center part of your lower lip. I'm going to go in with my nude lipstick. This is Urban Decay 1993. And I'm going to just fill my lips in. We are done with the makeup look. So thank you, Sahar, for your amazing class. I learned so much from it, as you can tell. And this is the final look that I recreated from that class. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Initially, I was like, oh, girl, where is this going? I don't think you remember anything from that class. But, you know, the whole thing kind of came together. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like this video if you like my makeup videos. Subscribe if you want more. And leave a comment below telling me your mistakes that you have been making. And now what have you learned from the queen of makeup herself, not me, Sahar. And I will see you all in my next video.